Good morning gamers. Today I want to talk about a game that really surprises many people and that's a clear contestant for the Game of the Year 2023. I'm of course talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Some of you might agree while others disagree, but that's fine, just hear me out. Let's take a dive into the reasons why Baldur's Gate 3 might be the Game of the Year. First, for those of you who don't know Baldur's Gate or the developer Larian Studios, here is some history. The previous Baldur's Gate game came out September 21st, year 2000. And here we are, 23 years later, finally getting a sequel. Larian Studios have not only made Baldur's Gate, they also made the acclaimed game Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. They also had several smaller, less known titles. Baldur's Gate 3 is a role-playing game set in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. For many people, Dungeons & Dragons are the definition of nerd. Even for many gamers, Dungeons & Dragons are simply too far out. But in the later years there has been a clear change, with even the Dungeons & Dragons movie doing somewhat okay. Dungeons & Dragons are slowly getting more and more accepted by gamers all over the globe. But let's start. What makes this game a potential candidate for Game of the Year? Already in the character creator, there are hints that this game contains things not often seen in games. Conan Exile was made famous for their endowment slider, and Baldur's Gate is taking this further. And during the gameplay you realize that this game has quite some, let's call it erotic parts. But that alone is not enough to make this game good. Here are 3 strong reasons why I feel the game is a worthy Game of the Year candidate. The game has been in early access since 2020, almost for 3 years, and during that period Larian Studios have collected a vast amount of feedback from the players. Unlike other studios, they have listened and implemented changes that the players wanted, making the players' ideas, thoughts and feedback, and not at least concern, a valuable part of the development. The game comes with a single player that don't require online connectivity. Unlike Diablo and Redfall, who both require constant connectivity to play even single player, Larian Studios have done the smart and sensible thing. You can play the game alone, whenever, wherever, without internet. But it doesn't stop them from having full co-op experience. The game features both split screen and online and LAN co-op. Again, giving the players what they want instead of just following the money. Lastly, the game launched finished. The game was actually ready, polished and very much playable. There was no day one DLC, in-game pay to win or massive amount of buyable cosmetics. The game did feature a digital deluxe upgrade, but a soundtrack and artbook is well within acceptable limits. In other words, Larian Studios have put focus on the player, made a game that the players want, and these are some of the strongest reasons why they are such a good massive Game of the Year candidate. But it doesn't stop there, the game has more in store. When it comes to gameplay and missions, the game offers a free-form fashion, free-form style. There are no strict paths you need to follow. Depending on what party members you meet and missions you find, the game will feel different for most players, or every time you play through. The amount of variation in the game is big, not just dialogue but also the missions. Fight your way through, talk your way through, or simply sneak your way through. And this is true for the main quest, the side quests and everything in between. And before you start fighting your way through the game, remember there will be ripple effects from all your action during the game. After all, the game has over 17,000 different endings. If you are still not impressed, there are still some factors that we haven't discussed. According to Larian Studios, the game as of 16th of August had sold 5.2 million copies on PC alone. On Steam, they reached over 870,000 concurrent players, making it one of the most played titles on Steam. And currently it has over 230,000 overwhelmingly positive feedbacks on Steam. And the game haven't even launched for console yet. And regarding the erotic part we talked about earlier, there is a brand new category on speedrun.com for Baldur's Gate 3 where people, well, they speedrun how fast they can reach the erotic part of the game. Only time can tell and show if Baldur's Gate will be Game of the Year 2023, but I believe they are a really strong candidate. What do you think? Discuss below in the comments. Like and subscribe.